First contact. The stars were like diamonds against black velvet as Captain Ilara Chen stood on the observation deck of the ESS Pathfinder. This deep space exploration vessel represented humanity's most advanced technology, a fusion-powered marvel that had taken her crew farther from Earth than any humans had ventured before. Captain, we're detecting an anomalous energy signature from the third moon of the gas giant. Lieutenant Marcus Reed called from his station. His dark fingers danced across the holographic display, bringing up detailed scans. Ilara moved to his side, her eyes narrowing as she studied the readings. That can't be right. The preliminary survey showed all moons in this system were dead rock. I've run the diagnostics twice, Marcus replied. Something down there is putting out enough energy to power a small city. Dr. Samira Kaur, the ship's chief scientist, joined them at the console. Her expression was one of barely contained excitement. The signature matches nothing in our database. It's rhythmic, almost like a beacon. Ilara finished. She straightened, making her decision. Helm, take us in closer. Tactical, maintain yellow alert. Let's see what we found. The Pathfinder descended toward the moon, a gray, cratered sphere that looked unremarkable to the naked eye. As they entered orbit, the ship's sensors revealed more anomalies. Captain, I'm detecting perfectly symmetrical formations beneath the surface, Samira reported. And the energy signature is growing stronger. Put it on the main screen, Ilara ordered. The view screen flickered to life, showing a topographical map of the moon's interior. What they saw made everyone on the bridge fall silent. Beneath kilometers of rock lay vast structures, chambers, corridors, and enormous mechanical systems that spanned the entire moon. That's not natural, Chief Engineer Takashi Yamamoto whispered. Before anyone could respond, the ship shuddered. We're caught in some kind of gravitational field, the helmsman shouted. I can't break free. Ilara gripped the arms of her command chair. All hands braced for possible impact. Engineering, give me everything you've got on the reverse thrusters. Despite their efforts, the Pathfinder was pulled inexorably toward the moon's surface. But instead of crashing, a section of the moon's crust slid open, revealing a cavernous docking bay large enough to swallow a dozen ships their size. Cut engines, Ilara ordered as they were gently guided inside. No point fighting it now. The docking bay sealed behind them, and interior lights activated automatically, revealing a space that hummed with dormant technology. The air outside registered as breathable. Assemble the away team, Ilara said. I want security, science, and engineering. And let Earth Command know what we found. Communications are being blocked, Captain. Lieutenant Zoe Alvarez reported from her station. Whatever's controlling this place has us isolated. Ilara nodded grimly. Then we proceed with caution. This is first contact protocol now. The away team, led by Ilara herself, descended to the moon's interior. Walking through massive hallways, they marveled at the scale. Everything was built for beings larger than humans, with ceilings 20 meters high and doorways wide enough for small shuttlecraft. This technology is thousands of years beyond ours, Takashi said, scanning a control panel that lit up as they approached. But somehow it recognizes our presence. As if responding to his words, a holographic figure materialized before them. A tall, slender being with 4 arms and iridescent skin that shimmered with inner light. Welcome, children of the third seeding, the figure said in perfect English. I am Nexus, custodian of this vessel. The team froze in shock. How are you speaking our language? Ilara asked, stepping forward. I have accessed your ship's database and linguistic patterns, Nexus replied. This vessel is designed to communicate with any intelligent life form. Vessel? Samira asked. This entire moon is a ship. Correct. You stand aboard the stellar Arc Lumina, one of 7 world ships created by the Precursors. The Precursors, Ilara prompted. The first advanced civilization in this galaxy, Nexus explained. They achieved spaceflight 2 million of your years ago and seeded countless worlds with life. A three-dimensional star map appeared around them, with 7 points of light pulsing in different regions of the galaxy. The precursors faced extinction from a cosmic force they called the Void. Nexus continued. They built 7 world ships to preserve their knowledge, technology, and genetic legacy. Each ship was hidden in dormancy, programmed to awaken when discovered by a species with the right genetic markers. And that's us. Takashi asked skeptically. Your species carries precursor genetic sequences, Nexus confirmed. They visited your world approximately 100,000 years ago and modified early hominids, planting the seeds for your eventual development. The implications hit Ilara like a physical force. Humanity's entire evolutionary history, their place in the cosmos. Everything was suddenly recontextualized. Why are you telling us this now? She asked. Because the Lumina has awakened, and its awakening has sent a signal across the galaxy, Nexus said. Others will come. Some will seek to claim this vessel and its technology for themselves. Others? Marcus asked. There are other spacefaring species. 17 major civilizations comprise what you would call the Galactic Coalition, Nexus replied. They have observed Earth for centuries, but considered your species too primitive for formal contact. And now, Ilara pressed. Now you have found a precursor world ship, and the Lumina recognizes you as its inheritors. This changes everything. Nexus's form flickered slightly. I detect multiple vessels approaching at faster than light speeds. The Coalition comes to investigate the awakening. Ilara turned to her team. We need to contact Earth immediately. Takashi, work with Nexus to find a way around whatever's blocking our communications. Samira, learn everything you can about this ship and the precursors. Marcus, I want full tactical analysis of our situation. As her team dispersed to their tasks, Ilara stood alone with the holographic custodian. Why us? She asked quietly. Out of all the species in the galaxy, why did the precursors choose humans? The precursors saw qualities in your ancestors that reminded them of themselves. Curiosity, adaptability, creativity, and determination, Nexus replied. They believed that if any species could survive the coming of the Void, it would be yours. And what is this void they feared? Nexus's light dimmed slightly. That information is sealed in the Lumina's archives. Access requires genetic verification at the highest level. But know this, Captain Chen. What you have discovered today will forever change humanity's place in the cosmos. 3 days later, the Pathfinder's crew had established basic control systems throughout the Lumina. Takashi had managed to boost their communications, signal enough to send a message to Earth, and the response had been immediate. A flotilla of Earth's most advanced ships was en route, but it would take weeks for them to arrive. Unfortunately, the Galactic Coalition would arrive much sooner. 17 ships dropping out of FTL. Captain Marcus reported from his station on the Pathfinder's bridge, which they had maintained as their command center. Configuration matches nothing in our database. On screen, Ilara ordered. The view screen showed a formation of sleek vessels, each at least 3 times the size of the Pathfinder. Their hulls gleamed with an iridescent material similar to Nexus's holographic form. Nexus, what can you tell me about these ships? Ilara asked. The lead vessel belongs to the Arathi Dominion, the most powerful faction within the Coalition, Nexus replied, appearing beside her. The others represent the Coalition Council. They come to claim the Lumina. Can they take it by force? No. The Lumina recognizes only those with precursor genetic markers as authorized users, but they will attempt to persuade or coerce you into surrendering control. We're being hailed, Captain, Zoe reported. Put them through. The screen changed to show a tall, elegantly proportioned being with 4 eyes set in a narrow face. Its skin was a pale lavender, and it wore elaborate ceremonial armor. I am High Sovereign Thelix of the Arathi Dominion and speaker for the Coalition Council, the alien said in flawless English. We address the human crew who has illegally activated a precursor artifact. Ilara stood straight, projecting confidence she didn't entirely feel. I am Captain Ilara Chen of the Earth Space Service vessel Pathfinder. We discovered this ship in unclaimed space. By right of discovery, we claim it for humanity. Felix's upper eyes narrowed. You understand nothing of what you have found, Captain. Precursor technology is classified as protected heritage under Coalition law. This vessel must be surrendered to Council custody immediately. The Lumina has recognized humans as its intended inheritors, Ilara countered. Its AI custodian has confirmed this. Impossible. Another alien voice cut in as a second figure moved into view, a squat, reptilian being with scales that shifted color as it spoke. The precursors vanished long before your species evolved. This is an obvious malfunction. Nexus stepped forward, its holographic form growing brighter. I am Nexus, custodian of the stellar arc Lumina. I confirm that humans carry precursor genetic markers deliberately implanted during the third seeding. The Lumina recognizes Captain Chen and her species as authorized users. A shocked silence fell over the Coalition representatives. This is unprecedented, Felix finally said, voice tight with controlled anger. We require verification. A Coalition scientific team will board the vessel to examine this claim. That would violate our sovereign claim, Ilara replied firmly. We're willing to share scientific data, but the Lumina remains under human control. Be warned, Captain, Felix said, leaning forward. If humans attempt to activate precursor weapon systems, the Coalition will consider it an act of war against all spacefaring civilizations. You have one planetary rotation to reconsider your position. The transmission cut off. Well, that went about as expected, Marcus muttered. Ilara turned to Nexus. Does the Lumina have weapons? The Lumina possesses defensive capabilities that exceed anything in the Coalition arsenal, Nexus confirmed. However, activating them would confirm their fears. Ilara nodded thoughtfully. Then we need a different approach. Nexus, you said there are 6 other world ships. Can we contact them? The Lumina can transmit to the other arcs, but they will only respond if they have been awakened. Send the signal, Ilara ordered, and give me everything you have on Coalition politics and weaknesses. If we can't outgun them, we'll have to outthink them. As the signal went out across the stars, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that humanity had just stepped onto a much larger stage, one where they were the newest and least experienced players in a game that had been running for millennia. But if the precursors had chosen humans for their adaptability and determination, then perhaps it was time to show the galaxy exactly why. The Awakening. The Coalition ultimatum expired at 600 hours ship time. Captain Ilara Chen had spent the intervening hours in intense planning sessions with her crew and Nexus, preparing for what would certainly be a defining moment in human history. Coalition ships are taking up attack positions, Lieutenant Marcus Reed reported from his tactical station. The main view screen showed the 17 alien vessels spreading out to surround the Lumina. Are they charging weapons? Ilara asked, outwardly calm despite the tension knotting her stomach. Difficult to tell with their technology, but energy readings are spiking across their fleet. Nexus's holographic form appeared beside Ilara's command chair. They are indeed preparing weapon systems, Captain. Their strategy indicates they plan to disable rather than destroy. How considerate of them, Chief Engineer Takashi muttered from his console. Ilara nodded to Communications Officer Zoe Alvarez. Open a channel to High Sovereign Felix. The Arathi leader's face appeared on screen, 4 eyes narrowed in what Ilara had learned to recognize as disdain. Your time has expired, Captain Chen, Felix said before she could speak. Transfer control of the precursor vessel to Coalition authority immediately. I have a counter-proposal, Ilara replied evenly. The Earth government is dispatching diplomatic representatives. They will arrive in 3 weeks. Until then, we propose a joint scientific mission to study the Lumina, with the understanding that operational control remains with my crew. Unacceptable, Felix snapped. The situation has escalated beyond diplomacy. Our sensors detect that you have been attempting to activate dormant systems throughout the vessel. Ilara maintained her composure. We've been working with Nexus to understand the ship's basic functions. No weapons have been activated. Nevertheless, the Coalition Council has voted. The Lumina will be placed under Coalition control pending a full investigation of your species' claim to precursor lineage. Ilara exchanged a glance with Nexus, who gave an almost imperceptible nod. I'm afraid we can't allow that, High Sovereign, she said, straightening in her chair. Nexus, initiate protocol shield. Acknowledged, Captain. The AI responded. Around the Lumina, a shimmering field of energy blossomed outward, expanding until it formed a sphere several kilometers beyond the moonship's surface. What is this? Felix demanded, his composure slipping for the first time. A defensive measure, Ilara explained. The shield will prevent any unauthorized boarding attempts while allowing communications to continue. We remain open to scientific collaboration, but the Lumina stays under human control. On the view screen, Felix conferred with others off-screen, his expression darkening. This action confirms our concerns about human aggression. You leave us no choice. The transmission cut off abruptly. They're charging weapons to full capacity, Marcus reported tensely. Will the shield hold? Ilara asked Nexus. The Lumina's defensive systems are designed to withstand forces far greater than anything the Coalition can deploy, the AI assured her. However, I recommend activating secondary countermeasures. Do it. As the Coalition ships opened fire, streams of energy weapons impacting the shield in brilliant flashes, the Lumina responded. From various points across its surface, slender spires extended upward, pulsing with blue-white light. Targeting countermeasures active, Nexus announced. Non-lethal response authorized. The spires released pulses of coherent energy that swept across the Coalition fleet. Ship by ship, their weapons went silent, engines flickered, and they began to drift. What did we just do to them? Dr. Samira Kaur asked, watching the screens with wide eyes. A targeted electromagnetic pulse, Nexus explained. Their crews are unharmed, but ship systems will require approximately 6 hours to restart. Ilara allowed herself a moment of relief before addressing her crew. This is only the beginning. They'll be back with more ships and less patience. We need to understand more about this ship's capabilities, and quickly. Captain, Zoe called from communications. We're receiving a transmission, but not from the Coalition. It's coming from deep space, on a frequency Nexus says is reserved for precursor communications. Ilara and Nexus exchanged glances. Put it through, Ilara ordered. The view screen shifted to show another holographic figure similar to Nexus, but with a different configuration and coloration. Greetings to the custodian and inheritors of the Lumina, the figure said. I am Helios, custodian of the stellar arc Solaris. We have received your awakening signal. Another world ship, Samira whispered in awe. The Solaris was discovered 30 of your days ago. Helios continued, by a species known as the Enterans. They too carry precursor genetic markers from the fourth seeding. Where are you located? Ilara asked. The Solaris resides in what you would call the Andromeda Galaxy, Helios replied. But distance is no barrier to precursor communications. We have much to discuss, inheritors of the Lumina. The awakening of 2 arcs within such a short time frame is unprecedented, and it signals that the time of restoration is upon us. Restoration. Ilara looked to Nexus for explanation. The ultimate purpose of the 7 arcs, Nexus said, was not merely preservation, but eventual restoration of precursor civilization through their genetic inheritors. When all 7 arcs awaken, they can combine their knowledge and power to prepare their inheritor species for what comes next. And what comes next? Takashi asked. The return of the void, Helios answered, his holographic form dimming. The force that drove the precursors to create the arcs in the first place. Our sensors indicate early signs of its reemergence on the fringes of your galaxy. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. "We should continue this conversation with the Enterans present," Ilara finally said. "Can you establish a direct link?" "It will be arranged," Helios confirmed before disappearing from the screen. Over the next 2 weeks, the situation evolved rapidly. The coalition returned with a larger fleet, as expected, but their approach had changed. Instead of threats, they now sought negotiation, a shift prompted by news of the Second Ark's awakening and the revelation that another species shared the precursor legacy. Earth's diplomatic vessels arrived ahead of schedule, bringing with them scientists, military advisors, and government representatives eager to understand what humanity had stumbled upon. Among them was Admiral Helenosaurus, head of Earth's Space Command. "You've handled an impossible situation admirably, Captain," the Admiral told Ilara as they walked through the Lumina's vast corridors. Finding the Lumina, establishing first contact with an alien AI, and facing down 17 advanced civilizations. It's unprecedented. "We had Nexus to guide us," Ilara replied modestly, "and a lot of luck." "More than luck," Admiral Soares said, stopping to look at her. "You showed judgment and restraint where others might have panicked. That's why I'm here to officially offer you command of this vessel." Ilara blinked in surprise. "Command? But I'm not qualified to." "No one is qualified to command a planet-sized starship built by an ancient civilization," the Admiral cut in with a smile. "But Nexus recognizes you, your crew respects you, and even the Coalition acknowledges your handling of the situation. Earth needs someone who understands this ship, and that's you." Before Ilara could respond, her communicator chimed. "Captain, we're receiving signals from 3 more locations across the galaxy," Marcus reported urgently. "Nexus confirms their awakening signatures from other arcs." "We're on our way to the bridge," Ilara replied, exchanging a significant look with the Admiral. By the time they arrived, the view screen showed a galactic map with 5 pulsing points of light: the Lumina, the Solaris, and 3 newly awakened arcs. "The Quasar has awakened in the Centaurus arm," Nexus reported, "discovered by the Vril, descendants of the second seeding. The Nova has awakened in the Perseus arm, found by the Tagan of the 5th seeding. And the Astrum has awakened in the Sagittarius arm, discovered by the Novan, who like humans are from the 3rd seeding." 5 of the 7 arcs, Admiral Soares murmured, all awakening within weeks of each other after millions of years of dormancy. "This can't be coincidence." "It is not," Nexus confirmed. "The arcs are responding to subtle changes in the cosmic background radiation, the first harbingers of the void's return." "How long do we have?" Ilara asked. "At current progression, approximately 50 of your years before the void begins to affect inhabited systems," Nexus replied. "The precursors had less warning and far fewer resources distributed across multiple species. You have time to prepare, if you work together." Admiral Soares straightened her uniform. "Then we need to establish contact with these other inheritor species immediately. Captain Chen, I believe your first mission as commander of the Lumina is clear." Ilara nodded, a sense of purpose filling her. "Nexus, open communications channels to all awakened arcs. We need to coordinate with the other inheritor species." "And the Coalition?" Marcus asked from his station. Ilara smiled grimly. "Invite them to send representatives. They should understand that the game has changed. This isn't about claiming precursor technology anymore. It's about saving all intelligent life in the galaxy." As communications were established with the other arcs and their inheritor species, Ilara couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder. Humanity had gone from believing they were alone in the universe to discovering they were part of a vast legacy spanning millions of years and multiple galaxies. The Lumina hummed around them, systems awakening that had lain dormant for eons. Through Nexus, they learned that each arc contained different aspects of precursor knowledge and technology. The Lumina specialized in biology and medicine, the Solaris in physics and energy manipulation, the Quasar in materials science, the Nova in computation and artificial intelligence, and the Astrum in agriculture and ecosystem management. Together, they formed a library of knowledge beyond anything humanity could have achieved on their own in thousands of years. The remaining 2 arcs. Ilara asked Nexus as they prepared for the first multi-species conference. Any sign of them? Not yet, the eye replied. But their awakening will come when they are needed. The precursors designed redundancy into their plan. 5 arcs are sufficient to begin the restoration. Admiral Soares joined them, reviewing the preliminary data on the other inheritor species. They're all humanoid, though with significant variations. The genetic tampering was subtle enough to allow natural evolution to proceed while ensuring compatibility with precursor technology. A grand experiment spanning millions of years and countless light years, Dr. Samira observed. The precursors must have been unimaginably patient and forward-thinking. They had to be, Nexus said simply. The void had already consumed 3 galaxies. They knew they could not defeat it directly. Their only hope was to seed the cosmos with their knowledge and genetic legacy, then trust their descendants to find a solution they could not. The view screen activated, showing representatives from the 4 other inheritor species waiting in their respective arcs. They were indeed humanoid, though each had clear adaptations to their home environments. The aquatic vril with their gill-like structures, the high-gravity adapted Tagan with their stocky, powerful builds, the radiation-resistant Novan with their metallic skin tones, and the gaseous atmosphere Entorans with their enlarged lung capacity. Yet despite their differences, Ilara could see the common thread. The precursor influence that linked them all as cousins in a galaxy-spanning family. This is just the beginning, Ilara said quietly, more to herself than the others. Everything changes from this moment forward. As she stepped forward to address the assembled representatives of 5 advanced civilizations, Captain Ilara Chen, now commander of the stellar Arc Lumina, felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Humanity had uncovered not just a ship, but their true place in the cosmos and a destiny none of them could have imagined. The universe would indeed never be the same.